All right. All right, good morning. Happy May, right? I can't believe it's May 2nd. I think that's my class before this. Like it just feels like it just keeps going so fast, right? It's May 2nd already. We have this week and next week, and that's it, right? This week and next week, and we're done with our semester, which is just it's crazy, but we have a good week. Did everyone have a good weekend? Got like 2 nods. I'll take it. I have to show you, I showed to my earlier class, but I'll show you too, right? This was my weekend. 2 cakes. Actually, I think I had I was saying 9 earlier, but I think I had 7 cakes this weekend. It was an amazing weekend. They had 7. So I bought 2 for my twins' birthday, their actual birthday yesterday, 1 for each of them. And then we went to a party. They had their birthday party on Saturday and they had 2 on that day, right, for the birthday party. And then we went to a softball party and they got them each a cake at the softball party because it was their birthday. So I guess 6, only 6. It's hardly 7. Right? It felt like 9. I ate so much cake this weekend. I was almost over cake, almost by the end of the day yesterday. Oh, close. But I mean, I still have leftovers. I'm going to have it today. Like, I'm not over it yet. Right? But it was a beautiful weekend of lots and lots of cake, right? Amazing. And then, right, they're 8 now, my little twins, right? They're cute, right? They so cute. This is Paisley, who I think looks a lot more like me than Emma does, but they're so cute. I have to show them off, right? You have no choice but to look at them. I mean, I guess you could close your eyes, but yeah, they were very excited. They had their fair share. Last night, when we pulled out the cakes to sing them happy birthday, Emma was like, I don't want any more cake. Can I have French fries instead? And it's like, okay, it's your birthday. I'll eat the cake. I'll get you French fries. Anyway, so let me pull this back up here. There we go. So as I said, we're almost done with our semester. We'll wrap this up. We have a few more slides to go through for this chapter, and then we'll get into chapter 16 on forensic psychology. We're actually going to be doing a little kind of group activity for that, or like small like pair activity related to that, which will take us into next class. And then next Wednesday we have our final, and we're done. So we're definitely in the last little stretch here. But last time we talked a lot about the different neurocognitive disorders. So just to kind of wrap up a few things related to this. So we'll talk some about prevention and treatment, and then some things you can do on your own to help delay these things as well. But when it comes to intervention and treatment, we have a lot of really interesting and promising research that's coming out. Right? There's a lot of advances that have been made in treatments for and understanding of these different disorders that we've been talking about, these neurocognitive disorders. And you can actually get tested and screened quite a bit now to see if you're going to be more vulnerable to one of them in the future. Now, just something to think about, right? If you had the opportunity, right, to go get tested to find out if you would one day develop Alzheimer's or Lewy body or Huntington's or one of those, how many of you would want to know? Like, just by show of hands, would go get tested? Like, I want to know, I need to know, and then I can do everything that I can do to try and delay it. So, right? How many of you, no way, I'd rather not know, it would like ruin everything for me. I think I lean toward the, like, I wouldn't want to know, but any thoughts, or like, why would you want to know or not want to know, or why would you test? Yeah.
Like, I want to know because like, it would be good to tell like, a future kids, I guess.
Sure.
And like, because although there's probably nothing you can really do with their friends, most of those,
Mhm.
especially also primers, like if you know, it's not really, I mean, it's a big deal and there's nothing you can do for it. So I guess like knowing would kind of push me to like live my life to the fullest.
Mhm.
But I also really don't want to know.
Right. Yeah.
It's like a lot of pressure to know that one day you just wake up and you're just not gonna know.
Sure. That's a scary thought to like find that out, maybe now when you're young, that like in 50 years and 30 years and 60, whatever it might be, that you might be more vulnerable to this. And we can add to it that these tests are often like inaccurate, right? So you could take one of these tests and find out, yeah, I'm going to get Alzheimer's one day and it was a false positive, right? Or a false negative. It's the same as like when you do the testing for prenatal screening, when you're testing like the amniotic fluid and so on to find out if a child is going to be more prone toward developmental disorders. Those are often wrong, right? They can be right, of course, but they can be wrong as well. It's just it's a really interesting kind of newer development. We have some of these screening methods now that you can take, but the reactions to them are very mixed, especially when you're younger. I mean, do you really want to know or not? It's kind of up to each one of you. Any other thoughts or comments on that before I keep going? I don't want to rob you of your chance to have your comment if you have any other thoughts. I don't think I would do it. I think I would want to know. Yeah.
I was thinking just like, because I would get so anxious about it.
Sure.
I think that like, as I maybe not now, I would be able to think about it like move on. to my life, but
Sure.
once I think it would just be constant on my mind and like any possible symptom we were getting where I put my keys or something like that, I would like be freaking out about it.
Yeah.
So I think it would just make it like bigger than it had to be, where it would just
Yeah.
that be scary.
I could see that, right? The second that you have a little slip of the memory, like, oh no, like here it is, right? But it's interesting. We can do like a lot of them are blood tests or like PET scans that you can see if you might be more vulnerable. I mean, and if you know that ahead of time, you can do more like preventative efforts, which we'll talk about a little bit today. But again, they're not perfect tests. So just something to be aware of. It's growing in popularity that you can be tested and screened. But again, not anything that's perfect right now. But when it comes to treatment for these different disorders that we're talking about, again, they tend to be only moderately helpful. We can kind of slow down the process, but we can't stop it, right, is the difficult thing. And there usually hits a point where treatment is no longer helpful. And so people will then go off the medications that were maybe slowing the progression. But what these treatments do, the different medications that you can take, is they target the neurotransmitters like dopamine and acetylcholine, which are thought to play a role in some of the advancement of the disease, right? And so you can take medications that help with this in the early stages, but as we get to the later stages, sadly, they don't tend to help much anymore. And then it's just managing the symptoms and things that are appearing. We do have some really interesting, promising new treatments that are related to stem cell research. Right, so when the ban on stem cell research was lifted, that made some huge advancements. We're looking at how can we maybe use that as a way to grow cells that have died off, but regenerate some of those cells. There's a lot of promising stuff there. There's also some really interesting research being done on the links between diabetes and dementias, right? And so a lot of diet and lifestyle related choices have been thought to be linked to Alzheimer's and the other dementias. So there's a talk of like a type 3 diabetes, right? That's kind of starting to be developed, and some of the newer treatments for Alzheimer's involve looking at insulin levels in the body. So really interesting. There's a lot of research and stuff on the horizon, a lot of studies being done. Hopefully by the time most of us are in our like 60s and 70s and 80s, we have a cure. But again, as it stands right now, this is something that we aren't able to turn around. I found an interesting video. It's about 4 years old, I think at this point, 4 or 5 years old. But it's talking about some of that research and advances and like using almost like a nasal administration to do this. So it's I'm talking a little bit about what causes these and how we're going to treat them. And I thought it was really interesting. I'd like to play it for you. And we were kind of short on time last time, so we'll do it now.